Have you ever felt as if you were born with a purpose you couldn't quite name? Like a story already half-written in the ink of lifetimes you can't remember? They say the soul forgets when it enters the body, but what if that forgetting was only partial, and somewhere, hidden in the dust of forgotten temples and behind the veils of forbidden manuscripts, lay a map? A map not of the stars, but of the soul's secret journey before it is born into flesh. There exists a manuscript, obscure, guarded, and for centuries considered too dangerous for public knowledge. It is not housed in any modern library, and many believe it was lost during the burning of the Library of Al-Andalus in the 13th century. But fragments of it survived, whispered between mystics, encoded into the margins of other texts, and rediscovered by a handful of spiritual seekers. It is known among esoteric circles as Liber Animi Transitus, the Book of the Soul's Passage. What makes this book so extraordinary is not only its age, dating back nearly 1,200 years, but its content. A detailed map of the precise stages your soul passes through before it incarnates on Earth. According to the text, incarnation is not random, nor is it merely a reaction to karma. It is a carefully orchestrated descent, involving counsels, choices, trials, and sacred contracts. Each stage leaves a signature in your being, your gifts, your fears, even your attractions and repulsions. In this video, we're going to peel back the veil. You'll learn about the soul's pre-incarnational journey through 7 sacred stages, as described in the Forbidden Book, each one serving a vital purpose, each one echoing in your current life in ways you might not yet understand. We'll explore the hidden symbolism found in ancient traditions that align with this secret doctrine. And most importantly, we'll discuss how knowing this can radically change the way you see your challenges, your relationships, and your purpose in this lifetime. So settle in and open not just your eyes, but your inner vision. Because once you hear what the ancient ones wrote, you may never see your life the same way again. Are you ready to remember what your soul has forgotten? To understand the mystery of the soul's journey before incarnation, we must first travel back, not just in time, but into the inner sanctums of the world's oldest spiritual traditions. Because long before modern psychology and neuroscience tried to explain consciousness, ancient sages, mystics, and philosophers were charting the landscapes of the soul. The Liber Animi Transitus, though largely unknown, is believed to have emerged from a convergence of mystical lineages, remnants of Egyptian priesthood, early Gnostic teachings, and Sufi esotericism. Scholars speculate that the manuscript was written in the 9th century in Andalusia, a region that, at the time, was a melting pot of Jewish, Christian, and Islamic mysticism. Its contents were not meant for the masses. They were encoded, metaphorical, and passed only to initiates ready to confront the deeper dimensions of reality. In it, the soul is described not as a passive essence awaiting birth, but as a traveler, deliberate, eternal, and bound by neither time nor space. Before entering the womb, the soul undergoes a passage through 7 realms, each presided over by archetypal beings known as the Watchers of Descent. These are not to be confused with the fallen angels of apocryphal texts, though they share a similar name. The Watchers, according to the text, are cosmic intelligences, gatekeepers of wisdom who ensure that no soul descends unprepared. But this idea isn't isolated. In the Corpus Hermeticum, a collection of sacred writings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the soul is said to pass through planetary spheres after death, shedding layers of ego and memory. In the Zohar, the mystical heart of Kabbalah, the soul is taught by angels before it is born, only to have that knowledge erased by the touch of an angel's finger, a myth echoed in the indent above our upper lip. Even Plato, in his Myth of Air, spoke of souls choosing their lives before being born, guided by the fates and the spindle of necessity. Across continents and centuries, we see variations of the same story. Incarnation is not a beginning, it is a return. And what happens before we are born shapes what we come to experience after. The Forbidden Manuscript goes a step further. It names the stages. It outlines the trials. It describes, in poetic and chilling detail, how the soul must confront its past, its purpose, and even its potential future failures before choosing a new life. What does this mean for us? It means that the soul's suffering isn't arbitrary. nor is our pain pointless. Every struggle may be a signpost pointing back to a choice our soul once made in a realm beyond memory. And when we begin to decode these signs, we awaken not just spiritually but cosmically. In the coming section, we'll begin to unfold the first 3 stages of this pre-incarnational journey. Stages that you, unknowingly, have already passed through. But first, ask yourself this. If your soul chose this life, what might it have been trying to learn? The first 3 stages of the soul's descent. According to the Liber Animi Transitus, the soul's descent into incarnation is not a fall. It is a sacred pilgrimage. It is not born of punishment, but of purpose. Before it ever touches flesh, the soul crosses through 7 luminous thresholds. Each stage peels away a layer of the eternal self, preparing it to take on the illusion of separation we call life. Here, we explore the first 3 stages, each one an echo of divine architecture, each one mirrored in myths, dreams, and the silent language of the soul. Stage 1. The Hall of Reflection. The soul sees itself. The journey begins in the Hall of Reflection, a realm described as a vast chamber of liquid crystal light. Here, the soul stands before what the text calls the mirror of 10,000 lives. This is not merely a reflection of the past. It is a multidimensional viewing of all prior incarnations, across timelines and worlds. Every act of kindness, every betrayal, every moment of courage, every failure to love. The soul does not judge itself here. It witnesses. It is said that in this stage, the soul weeps, not out of shame, but from the weight of divine memory. Like a painter examining old canvases, it sees which parts of its expression have grown, and where its strokes remain unfinished. This is where the seeds of your current life were planted. The unresolved themes, the patterns that repeat, the relationships that magnetize or repel you. All of it begins in this first reflection. Analogy. Imagine entering an art gallery filled with portraits of yourself. Not just from this life, but from many lives. You study the expressions. Some are radiant, others wounded. All are you. And somewhere, in that silent observation, a vow begins to form. I must return. There is more to learn. Stage 2. The Circle of Souls, the Council of Agreements. From the mirror, the soul passes into the Circle of Souls. Here it meets with a council, a gathering of other souls with whom it shares sacred contracts. These may include those who will become your family, your lovers, your adversaries, or even the stranger whose one act of kindness changes your path forever. This stage is about agreement and alignment, not punishment, not reward, but the mutual weaving of storylines. Here, you choose your karmic lessons, yes, but also your companions. Some souls agree to break your heart to help you find your voice. Others may come to sacrifice, to protect, or to challenge. The Liber calls this the weaving of threads, likening it to a loom where souls braid destinies together across lifetimes. Analogy. Picture a playwright's room before a great drama. Each actor reads their role. Some smile, some hesitate, but all agree to step on stage not as enemies or allies but as mirrors. This is soul-level theater, and every scene matters. Stage 3. The Trial of Intention. The soul declares its purpose. Once the soul has remembered its past and chosen its companions, it stands before what the manuscript describes as the flame that consumes falsehood. This is the trial of intention. Here, the soul must speak a vow, why it is choosing to return to the material world. Not all souls pass this trial. According to the text, intention is power, and only a soul whose purpose aligns with truth can endure the flame without being consumed. The vow spoken here imprints deeply. It echoes in your core long after birth. You may feel it as a persistent longing, a hunger, a strange pull towards something your mind cannot name, but your heart refuses to forget. This stage is what imbues your life with potential meaning. Even if forgotten, the vow remains, like a compass buried beneath the waves. Analogy. Imagine holding a candle in a vast dark hall. You step forward and speak your truth into the silence. If the flame grows stronger, you may pass. If it falters, you return to the mirror. The flame does not lie. It reveals the soul's true will. These are the first 3 stages of the journey before incarnation: recognition, agreement, and intention. In the next section, we will explore the remaining 4 stages, where the soul chooses its body, faces the descent into forgetting, and ultimately enters the veil of birth. And within those lie secrets not just of who you were, but who you still are beneath the layers of this human skin. If the first 3 stages are about memory, agreement, and purpose, then the final 4 are about embodiment, surrender, and the sacred forgetting that makes being human possible. These stages are not spoken of in religious texts, yet they shimmer in myth and symbolism across cultures, in the Egyptian Book of Coming Forth by Day, in the Gnostic hymns, and even encoded in the architecture of ancient temples. The Liber Animi Transitus calls this part of the journey the spiral of descent, a sacred pattern where the soul willingly dims its own light to enter density, not to suffer, but to experience, not to be punished, but to evolve. Let us continue. Stage 4, the Chamber of Design, choosing the vessel. In this stage, the soul enters what is called the Chamber of Design, a celestial vault surrounded by spiraling patterns of light, what some mystics interpret as divine blueprints or soul codes. Here, the soul, with the assistance of guiding intelligences known as the architects, chooses the circumstances of its next incarnation. The body, genetics, environment, and even the time of birth, which determines the astrological imprint. This choice is not random. The soul selects a vessel that will resonate with its karmic themes and purpose. A soul destined to teach compassion may choose a fragile body to understand suffering. A soul seeking power may be born into limitation, to temper its pride with humility. Analogy: picture a sculptor standing before many blocks of marble. Each one has flaws, veins, and potentials. The sculptor selects the one that will challenge their artistry, not the one that is easiest to shape. We often think of our bodies as burdens or accidents. But what if your body is precisely the form your soul needed to express its divine intent? Stage 5. The Cloak of Forgetting, passing through the veil. Now comes the most mysterious and paradoxical stage, the Cloak of Forgetting. The soul, luminous and aware, agrees to undergo what the text calls the Great Amnesia. This is not a punishment, but a mercy. To remember all that you were, every life, every death, every betrayal and triumph, would paralyze the mind and fracture the heart. To truly experience life, one must forget enough to begin again. The Liber describes this stage as passing through a shimmering veil of silver mist. As the soul crosses, memories fade, awareness dims, and identity fractures into fragments. It is in this moment that the soul becomes susceptible to illusion, believing it is only what it is about to be born into. But something ancient remains, a trace. Some call it intuition, others call it déjà vu. It is the whisper of the eternal self, echoing faintly through the veil. Analogy: imagine diving into a deep ocean. As you descend, light fades and you forget the surface. But somewhere the sun is still shining. You just can't see it for now. Stage 6. The Womb of Becoming, fusion of spirit and matter. This is the most intimate stage, the womb of becoming. Here, the soul enters the developing fetus, a biological miracle enfolding divine consciousness. This union is delicate. Not all souls stay. Some hover for weeks before anchoring. Others enter fully at conception. Some leave and return. The text speaks of soul tides, movements of presence within the womb. This is where consciousness first experiences time in linear form, where the eternal becomes temporary, where the music of the stars is muffled by the rhythm of a mother's heartbeat. Many ancient cultures held rites for this stage. In India, Garbhodana, the ritual of conception, honored the soul's arrival. In Tibetan Buddhism, the Bardo Thodol describes the soul's choice of parents and the shock of embodiment. Analogy: picture being poured into a clay vessel while it's still spinning on the wheel. Your shape is not yet formed, but the descent has begun. The infinite prepares to be small. Stage 7. The Gate of Birth, entry into the world. Finally, the soul arrives at the gate of birth. This is not just a physical moment, it is a metaphysical rupture. A final contraction of the eternal into form. The Liber calls this moment the cry of the star, when the soul's light pierces the veil and becomes a name, a breath, a body. This stage is both traumatic and sacred. The soul is fully immersed in illusion. It no longer remembers the mirror, the counsel, or the vow. And yet, it carries the vibration of all that came before. This is why some infants weep not from pain, but from the grief of forgetting. Why others stare with knowing eyes, as if still tethered to the other side. This is why the first breath matters. In many esoteric traditions, it is the moment the soul fully integrates. The moment the divine takes its first breath in flesh. Analogy. Imagine waking from a dream so vivid you feel it clinging to your skin, but you can't quite recall what it was. That dream was the soul's journey. And this life, is the continuation of that dream in form. These final 4 stages, choice, forgetting, fusion, and birth, complete the soul's sacred descent. Not a fall from grace, but a pilgrimage into matter, where every tear, every joy, every lesson is the echo of a cosmic intention spoken long before your first breath. Next, we will explore how understanding this journey can transform your daily life, from how you relate to suffering, to how you reclaim the lost memory of your own vow. Now that we've uncovered the 7 sacred stages the soul passes through before incarnation, the question becomes, what do we do with this knowledge? This isn't just cosmic poetry or metaphysical mythology. It's a living map. One that can shift how you see your struggles, your gifts, your relationships, and most importantly, yourself. Because even if you don't consciously remember these stages, your body, your intuition, your very breath does. Let's explore how you can reconnect with this forgotten journey and begin living not just as a person surviving this world, but as a soul remembering its path through it. 1. Awaken the echo of your vow. Recall the trial of intention, the moment before birth when your soul declared why it was returning. That vow is not gone. It is hidden in your longing, your childhood fascinations, your inexplicable callings. To access it, meditation of remembrance. Sit in silence. Imagine standing before the flame that consumes falsehood. Ask your soul, what vow did I speak before I was born? Don't force answers. Listen for symbols, feelings, images. Often, the soul speaks in archetypes, not words. Track the pattern. Look at the major themes in your life, the repeated lessons, the pains that taught you most, the dreams that never leave. These patterns are the fingerprints of your pre-incarnational vow. 2. Rewrite your relationship with suffering. Understanding the soul's journey transforms how we see hardship. Challenges are not random punishments. They are part of the curriculum your soul chose with love and intention. Ask in moments of difficulty, if I chose this, what was I trying to learn? This doesn't mean bypassing pain. It means honoring it, seeing it as a sacred teacher, not an enemy. And that changes everything. 3. Deepen your relationships with soul companions. The circle of souls teaches us that our relationships are not accidents. They are contracts. When you feel an instant bond with someone, or an unexplainable tension, consider, what might our agreement have been? What are we here to teach each other? Practice this. Write a letter to someone important in your life, alive or past, starting with, what if we agreed to meet in this life for a reason? Let your soul speak through the pen. You may be surprised what emerges. 4. Heal the body as a sacred vessel. The Chamber of Design reminds us that our bodies were chosen for this journey. Every strength, every limitation was selected with purpose. Treat your body as the instrument your soul chose. Ask yourself, what is my body teaching me? What hidden wisdom lives in my illness, my scars, my energy patterns? Try this technique. Place your hands over your heart or womb. Whisper, thank you for being my vessel. Listen for what the body says back. It always does. 5. Practice the art of remembering. The cloak of forgetting may obscure our past lives and soul memories, but it does not erase them. You can pierce the veil. Ways to remember: dream journaling. Keep a journal by your bed. Ask your soul before sleeping, what do you want me to remember? Dreams often carry fragments of your pre-birth journey. Sacred symbol meditation. Meditate on symbols that resonate deeply. Ancient runes, mandalas, planetary glyphs. These can act as keys to soul memory. Soul regression. Consider guided hypnotherapy or past life regression with an experienced practitioner. Many people report revisiting the spaces between lives. 6. Live as a pilgrim, not a prisoner. You are not here by accident. You are not a victim of fate. You are a soul in motion, brave enough to descend, wise enough to forget, and strong enough to remember. Even in moments of despair, remind yourself, I chose this journey for a reason. My vow is alive within me. The path of the soul is not linear. It spirals, and with each step inward, you walk closer to the truth your spirit has always known. As we reach the end of this journey through the 7 sacred stages, one truth becomes abundantly clear. You are not just living a life. You are walking a path that has been written by the very essence of your soul. The soul's descent is not a random process, but a deliberate journey of growth, remembrance, and evolution. From the moment you first looked into the mirror of 10,000 lives to the instant you entered the womb of becoming, each step you took was part of a divine design. The suffering, the joys, the relationships, the challenges, they are all part of your soul's curriculum, chosen long before this life. But you are not alone in this journey. The souls that cross your path, the circumstances that challenge you, and the patterns that unfold in your life, each one holds the possibility of awakening a deeper understanding of who you truly are. The more you reconnect with these stages, the more you will realize that your life is not a series of random events, but a soul-driven odyssey. Remember, the vow you made before incarnation is not lost. It lies within you, a whisper waiting to be heard. As you meditate, reflect, and practice the techniques we've discussed, you will begin to feel it, like a compass guiding you through the illusion of time. Your soul's purpose is not a destination. It is a continuous unfolding. So, I invite you to carry this truth with you in every moment. You are more than your body, more than your mind, more than your story. You are the echo of ancient wisdom, walking through this world as both a teacher and a student. Your soul's journey is as old as the stars, and yet it is also brand new with each breath you take. The mysteries of the soul's journey are waiting to be rediscovered. The veil may hide the past, but it cannot erase it. The more you remember, the more you can live with purpose, with clarity, and with the knowledge that every step you take is part of a cosmic dance you've been participating in for eons. Embrace the journey, and let it guide you back to who you have always been.